Hello, everyone. Hello, all our Luxies. Welcome back to the Luxury Live Show. So today we have, of course, my partner in crime, Kat L, beside me. If you're new to this show, this is a weekly live show that both Kat and I host every week, alternatively. So this week is on my channel. Next week will be on hers. And we usually go over some topics, luxury related, and so the beginning portion is usually we have either slides or we have a topic to discuss, and then the latter portion of the live show is Q&A. So today we won't have any slides, but we will be sharing with you 10 questions that we ask ourselves before we consider buying luxury. I think this is a tag that's kind of going around. I've seen it around, and it seems like a really good luxury live show topic, don't you think, Kat?
Definitely.
So I think that is why we are going to share with you, I guess, 10 things that both Kat and I usually, we try to, we don't always do it, we try to consider before buying any luxury. So fine jewelry, ready to wear, handbags especially. And I also want to remind you that for the latter portion of the live show, that for the Q&A, to just put a bunch of question marks, type a bunch of question marks in front of your question so that it helps us see them. Okay, so that's for the latter portion. All right, let's get started. 10 questions that we ask ourselves before buying luxury. The very first question. Actually, I want you guys to also share with us, what do you guys think about? What questions do you ask yourselves before buying luxury? So the very first one that we put at the very, very top is, can we actually find this item at Chanel, Hermes, or Cartier? I don't know, your favorite luxury brand. Kat, you want to tell us why?
Okay, so as all of you know, and if you've been following us for the past year, myself and Amy, we are refocusing our funds to buying Hermes. And it's not that we don't love other brands, it's just many other things. And we're just, so nowadays when I see things in, Gucci or YSL, I always ask myself first, is like, should I spend this here, or maybe I can check it in Chanel or Hermes first? It's become almost natural to ask that first because, like I said earlier, we're focusing our funds. And based on old experience, right, when I've been buying luxury for many, many years, over 15 years, in my early days, I would buy a spectrum of things, and I would find that I have a mishmash of variety of brands, Gucci, YSL, Bottega, da, da, da. It was just a lot. And I've come far enough to know that I end up just liking a few brands. So that's why, out of experience, the brain is saying, can I find this at Hermes first?
Exactly. I think for me, it obviously didn't start off this way. This is rather a newer thing for me as well, more so for 2021. I guess it speaks to our loyalty of brand. For me, it was always Chanel. I always wanted to see if it existed at Chanel first. Hermes is creeping up there very, very fast, if not already there, because they offer much, much more than just ready to wear and handbags. They have homeware. They have Chanel has fine jewelry too, but the Hermes fine jewelry is exquisite. And what else do I really like? Shoes. So far, the couple pairs of shoes that I tried on, super comfortable, which I've never, ever been able to accomplish at Chanel. Like, I've tried numerous numbers of shoes there. I did buy a pair of boots last year, but that's pretty much it. That was just a one-off. But yeah, going forward, can we find this at our favorite brand, favorite fashion house? Yeah. So who are you? Who are some of those of you who do that too? Okay, let's move on to number 2.
I see Clara saying, can I find it at Hermes as well?
Yes. Yes, definitely. Okay, so the second question, well, not necessarily in this order, but a very important question. Can I afford it?
Mhm.
Super important.
Yeah. I think that's
Like,
just the underlying for luxury, right? Just don't go into debt. Like you could, there was one video that I was watching that says she took offense at some of the YouTubers that said don't use your credit card. And I
oh,
think maybe the narrative was slightly different. It was like, don't use your credit card if you're gonna keep it on your credit card. That I think
yes.
that's the tone that we want to say, right? Because if you keep your luxury purchases on your credit card, especially if your credit card is charging you interest on top of the say minimum payments, then it's definitely not worth it, right? You can use your credit card if you're gonna pay it off, like I don't know, get your 30 days and then pay it off, or you just want to use your credit card for safety. That is okay. It's not a yes and no entirely. But yeah, I was watching some YouTuber who was saying like, don't use your credit card is not right to say, but the tone is about keeping it on your credit card.
I think this is also about spending, not spending, but where can you charge that item smartly where you can
Mm-hmm.
also benefit from?
Yeah.
Because I always use a credit card. I have several credit cards, I almost always use just two of them. So my main one is for everything. It has the highest cash back. I think 1.70. Actually, no, they downgraded to 1.5% now.
Wow, that's a
But it's
lot.
yeah, but it's still 1.5% that I
That's a
wouldn't
lot.
have.
Yeah.
Exactly. So for every $100, I get $1.50 back. Why not? You
Mm.
don't even earn that much at the bank. You don't earn 1.5% in interest at the bank. Not anymore, not since the pandemic started.
Really.
And also, the question about can I afford it? It's not necessarily do you have that money in your bank? Because a lot of us have some savings, right? But it doesn't mean that you have to empty your savings. There is a priority too.
Mhm.
What other things that are more important than this item that comes first? If it's not the time, it's not the time. And obviously, it should never live on the credit card. I use my credit card just as a temporary purchase. Like you buy it, just earn that bonus because you're going to buy that item anyway.
True.
Yeah, and then pay it off before it accrues interest. So it's about spending it and charging it smartly where you can also benefit from it. All right, so the next very sort of natural transition from this question is, if I cannot afford it, can I sell something to afford it?
I'm
Which,
guilty of this.
me too. Not all the time, but yeah, I'll let Kat go first.
Okay. I do it all the time. Like and I think even for you, Amy, it's the reason we do this is because our collection is extensive enough
Yeah.
that we will often review the collection. Like, okay, which one is up for the chopping board because there's a new brother coming in or a new sister coming in, and it's not wrong because sometimes because they are things, they will get even if you don't sell it, they will get used and abused, and maybe it's time to retire. So that's one way to justify it. But then there are things that you actually don't use at all, and maybe taste has changed. For me, taste has changed. Maybe I don't use it, I don't like it anymore, I'm bored. Then if I can get some money for something else, why not?
Yeah, exactly. So there's that. A lot of people also do one in, one out, which is a good strategy. It's a good rule to just have on top of it. But it's also about, like Kat said, our collections are more extensive because we've been collecting for several years now. So I have duplicates of styles that, I mean, do you really need several of them? I still have duplicates of them, but at the end of the day, there's always room to call. Like, unless you only have like 2 bags, obviously you have nothing to call. But like for our collections, yeah, we have room to call, and it's about everything. Yeah, changing in lifestyle, taste, and your new favorite brand that just appeared not out of nowhere, but like Hermes is expensive, so I don't want to empty my savings. I'm going to use some of it, but if I have things that I can just let go, to better homes, why not? And then that can help out. So yeah, let us know if you guys do that, or do you never sell anything? For me, it's hard to sell stuff because I have been sort of like very protective of trying not to make mistakes. But this time, this recent block sale in March was very good. It was very freeing. It felt really good. Okay, so the next question that we ask ourselves: do I really need it? Do I really not own something similar already? Or yeah, that is a very hard one to sometimes decide to answer.
And I was just looking at the 4 questions that we laid out. If you take them in priority, you can see what is impulsive
Mhm.
and then what is sort of like the logical brain. Because the son is like, can I find it in Hermes? Because you're all excited. And then after that, okay, do I have money? Then can I sell something? And then after that, it starts to sink in. And that's when we ask ourselves, okay, take a step back. Do I really need it? And I think a lot of us work like that, right? We start off excited, and slowly we start to ask the real harder questions.
Yes. I think all of us want to always justify, oh yeah, I really need this for, I don't know, like that occasion, or when I dress like that or whatever, or I just really need it because you want it, that's your need. So yeah, the self-justification point, like that factor that we talked about last week, is such a challenging one, because we all know luxury is not an essential. It's very frivolous. To be able to afford luxury is such a gift, right? So in a way, sometimes you go a little overboard. So you really do have to ask yourself sometimes, do I really, 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 really need it? And it's not just going to sit there after I buy it. Because sometimes we just want to own it. We just want to collect. But I think I'm going to try not to do that anymore. Okay, next question, which is also a very important one. Does it suit my lifestyle? Kind of similar to, do I really need it?
Kind of similar. I think once we justify that, yes, we need it, then we sort of like, okay, how do we fit it into our lifestyles? Because it's always need, right? You always want something new. You always want the next hot thing or the next exciting thing to add to the collection or to add to something. But when we look at our lifestyles, maybe it's an obvious answer that no, it's actually not suitable.
Yeah, lifestyle is a very broad question, but it can be anything. It can be, does it suit your wardrobe? Does it suit where you live? Does it suit your actual style? Like, do you actually dress more elegant, dressy, so you need more like elegant bags? Or are you mostly casual, so you actually need more everyday bags, more lifestyle can be so broad, but ask yourselves all the time, are you really going to end up using it? Basically, does it suit you? Because if it doesn't, then it's not going to serve you. You're going to get buyer's remorse, all those things. So do I really need it? Does it suit my lifestyle? Those are all very, very important questions. Okay, up next, is it too trendy?
This question, I think in the recent years, it's becoming more and more apparent because luxury houses are really coming up with very trendy pieces. I mean, when I started to buy handbags, or when I was really aware of this luxury handbag world, not really. I mean, you will find some very outrageous pieces, but most bags are just bags with some style. And I remember when Balenciaga came up with the rock, what's it called? The rock stud? Wait, Balenciaga's bags.
Yeah.
What was the bag called again?
Well, there's the rock
The one with
stud, or this not spike, but
oh my god, I totally forgot about the name of the bag. The Balenciaga bag, the biker bag.
Balenciaga. City.
Yeah, the city bag, the city in the work
I was
bag.
thinking
Okay.
Valentino for
Yeah,
some
me too.
reason.
I was thinking Valentino moment. Yeah, so that bag, when it first came out, it was the trendiest in my generation. Okay, so the trendiest of all, like everyone's like, so out there with the studs and different sizes, with the tassel and everything. And it just took off. Then from there, I just noticed that you could see more and more trendy bags. And now, today, where we stand, where are the classics? Everything is loud and colorful and just a lot, which is good, because you get to express your individuality. You get to use the bags to express your maybe your feelings, your emotions, because some could be fun, some could be more dark. But are they, do they stand the test of time? Because they are very, very expensive. They're not like a makeup palette of orange or, neon purple. They're very much more expensive. So it's a very important question, this one.
Yes, I think this is a good follow-up to the previous question, because after you say, yes, I need it, yes, I want it, after you say that you don't have anything similar, does it suit you? Yes, it does. Then you have to ask yourself, is it going to be too trendy for you? Now, being trendy is not necessarily a bad thing. Honestly, it really isn't, because you could be a trendy person. That's what you are.
Yeah.
If that's your lifestyle, then that's perfect. But I think for the majority of people who errs on the safe side, in the long term, collecting, or let's not say collect, acquiring more pieces or sort of, just classic everyday pieces that stand the test of time is usually a safer route or a better route for them, so that they don't have to keep on buying and not using some of the more trendy pieces in the past. So like I said, trendy is not necessarily bad. It just depends on you. And I think trendy is still okay if you don't allocate a huge budget for it. Like, I feel like if you want to buy something trendy, it's okay to, if you're kind of like a fashionista, you just like to follow trends a little bit, just buy it when it's like a smaller or maybe like a less expensive item. Like, don't spend the equivalent of what you would spend on a classic flop, for example, on a trendy piece. That would be a kind of like a smarter way of going about it. But yeah, very important question.
Yeah, and I think also these questions, I think up to this point, they're quite dynamic. I feel like it depends on when in your life you are looking at these. Like if I look at these questions, say 10 years ago, I'm like, I love it. I love color. I love fun. I love partying. I love the occasional rave here and there. And then I would say I do need a colorful, trendier bag. It will suit my lifestyle. But if you revisit this question at this point in time, for me, it's no longer applicable because our lifestyle change. We grow up. Maybe 10 years from now, I might become a trendy person. So I might flip the opposite. And that point, I would say, come on, you can't be carrying a black bag, right? So I think it's just where you are at the state of mind, like where you think you are, and you're reflecting on what you've done before, and then asking the right questions that suit you. So there's no like, yes, it's too trendy, but then you just you like leave the bag forever, because revisit it 10 years or 5 or maybe next year, you say, actually, you know what, I do need that diamante bag.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I find that a lot of older, not super old, but like just, they're semi-retired aunties, they always are super colorful and trendy because, they actually have parties to go to now.
Yeah.
Whereas before that, they're working all the time. So.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Because my boss said to me, she said, I need a red bag. And I was like, what? What? Why? And me, 20 years younger, saying, no, don't get a red bag, you regret it. But she's like, I need a red bag because so boring. Everything's so boring. So really, it depends on where you are in your stage of life and your mindset. Maybe you just want to say, you know what? I'm done with the black bags. I'm done with it. Had it. And you just change. So
yeah. Okay. Let's move to another direction. But still very, very important. Am I just having FOMO at this point? Like, oh my gosh, this is a huge one.
all the time.
I feel it especially with things that you chase. So with Chanel, for example, for myself, every single season, I feel like I'm chasing something. Because I always anticipate the next collection. I always watch the runways and I rewatch it when it's closer to the collection, like closer to when they will about to launch. And there's just so many eye candies, right? So I'm like, oh, like even though you don't know how much they are, you know they're gonna be expensive anyway. But like, you know, once in a while you'll be surprised at, you know, a couple of pieces are a little bit more affordable and they're really cute and maybe they're trendy and like the newest thing that you want, you feel like you want, you need. And sometimes because I guess I know Chanel a bit more, I sometimes can almost predict that it's gonna be like the next hot thing. So I try to chase it. Chasing meaning I tell my SA ahead of time that I'm interested in that item, not even knowing if it's going to come to my store or not, because they don't always do. Then I have to ask myself, am I just scared that I'm going to miss out if I don't get it? Because a lot of times it is, because I don't really need it. I don't really need it.
We don't need anything actually. But
Yeah.
you know, I just wonder, you know, whether your FOMO is amplified by the fact that you're in Canada and that your store just doesn't get it. Like it is when they say limited edition, they really mean limited one piece, and therefore it's just amplified. Because if you come from a country that has a lot of surplus, it's, let's say like France, it's just everywhere. People are like, oh, don't worry, it's there. So it's just FOMO is not, it's not so apparent. I'm just wondering whether that could be the reason.
Oh, absolutely. It is 100% applicable in my case all the time. For sure, because demand is so high, but you know, Paris, they have to allocate stock worldwide. And I don't think Canada is super high on the priority. They're not the lowest, but they're not super high, you know, like I'm sure Hong Kong, like a lot of very big Asian cities, even the United States, they get a lot because they have a lot more stores, whereas, you know, Canada is a big country, but our population is only, I mean, I think our population is 10 times or 1/10 of the US. So naturally we won't have as many stores. We only have one store in every big city, so just 5. I think we have 5 stores. So yeah, naturally there is that competition because you're trying to get it. Everyone's trying to get it, so that adds to the FOMO for sure. Yeah, I think if I lived in
you have a really small, like, your population is, I just Googled your population, I had to do it.
Yeah.
It's only 38 million people. That's little, you know. Even Malaysia, our country is like a little banana.
Yeah.
We've got 33 million people in our country. Yeah. We're a little banana.
We even actually have 38 million. I thought we only had 30 million.
Maybe it's gone up a little baby
it
boom.
Has? Okay. But we are basically 1/10 of the United States population. So we have vast land, but a lot of it is in the north where nobody lives because it's so cold. Like most of the big cities are closer to, you know, the border, south border, like south, of the country. So yes, we have a lot of land, but there's not that many people considering how big our country is, right? But yeah, FOMO is a real thing, and it's such a deep one. It's almost as deep as do I need it? Because I think FOMO trumps do I need it all the time, because you're just justifying, and you might recognize that, but FOMO is something that is so innate that you don't even realize sometimes. So yeah,
it's a little bit like me for makeup. Like when it comes to limited edition, especially with my favorite brands, which is also Chanel makeup, kills me. So beautiful. Yeah. And again, they do the same thing with Chanel handbags, with the makeup, some of the very beautiful eyeshadow palettes and the blushes. When it's gone, it's gone. Like they don't even repeat it. How freaking annoying. So
same with the bags, I know.
I get FOMO with the makeup. I'm like, I need it.
Yeah, you know what? I never realized because I'm not I don't buy a lot of stuff. I only buy what I need and I use it up like totally. I wish I could do that with bags and fashion, but I never realized that with makeup, you can spend thousands of dollars every month just on buying makeup and skincare.
Yeah.
That is crazy to me. That is crazy. I use every time I don't use up everything is because I either don't like the product, which I feel like it's almost like a waste, and then I try to use it just on the rest of my body instead of my face.
But yeah, makeup is expensive. A little bit,
Yeah.
it's like, oh my God. So anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, FOMO's real.
Very real. Okay, number 8. Resale value. I know a lot of you love to ask us about resale value, and we don't at least my belief is that resale value is not always the most important, especially if you love something, you're going to use it. It's not as important. And if you're not going to sell it, there's really no point in talking about resale value. However, I know we do change our minds. And you just said earlier, like maybe in 10 years, we'll be trendy and all the black bags that are boring will want to sell them. So resale value is still something that you have to ask yourself. Is that important for you? Because even if not all your pieces have high resale value, if some of them have lower resale value, are you okay with that? Because sometimes it's okay. What do you think?
This resale value only for me came about only in the recent years. So again, it's because the collection has grown to a, for me, it's sustainable. I can accept it. It's sort of stable. But if I were to add new things into my collection, I want to know whether if I make a mistake or if I change my mind, maybe my lifestyle change, maybe there's a pandemic, things like that. I want to know that some of my costs I can recuperate. So I'm using the word cost because I'm not saying I can get an investment out of it. I think we've been doing this long enough and buying things long enough to know that unless you are really a reseller, you are in the market, you're in the business, our luxury items will depreciate. But the moment you start using it, it's very unlikely, not to say no, but unlikely that you will get your monies back, right? You can maybe recuperate your cost. So I do think resale value is important, which is why we always say don't get too trendy a piece, because trendier pieces tend to not hold their resale value so well. But having said that, if you love trendy pieces, you will be able to get really good ones in the resale market. So yeah, resale value is subjective. Like how much are you willing to give up that item in the future if you need to give up that item in the future? I think it's an if question. So yeah, I tend to ask this. I sometimes just ask it and just say, never mind. But it does cross my mind, right? It does cross my mind.
Well, it's an important question to consider. It's lower on our priority list, even though I said it's not really in order, but it appears to be now. But it's just something that you have to ask yourself anyway, because you just don't know the future. No one can predict how you feel about your items in the future. And like Kat said, don't look at it from an investment point of view, more so as a, if you made a mistake or if you change your mind type of point of view, will you be able to resell it? And if not, if you're going to lose money on it, are you going to be okay with it? Ask yourself that. Yeah. Okay. Kind of similar, in a similar vein. What about wear and tear? Okay, so with this question, I because I just filmed the Q&A earlier, and it's funny because most of the question, even though it was not directly asking me about wear and tear, a lot of it, I just sense the feeling from behind the question is a lot of it, there's a lot of fear behind, oh, what if my items doesn't stay new forever? And I almost had to like repeat myself so many times during the Q&A while I was filming it that wear and tear is completely natural. It's a natural process. But obviously, every individual is going to be different. So some people are just naturally paying more attention and just being more careful, less clumsy, etc., etc. That tends to be me. And others are just more carefree, and or they are just more clumsy, etc., etc. Or maybe they are just really using their items without thinking that they need to be extra careful. Like that's just not in their personality, and that's totally fine. So to expect anything, especially luxury, just because you're paying a lot of money for it, to expect that to stay new or near new all the time is impossible, because wear and tear is such a natural thing. It will happen to anything, even the most expensive thing in the world, unless you don't use it. That is the only exception. If you don't use it, obviously wear and tear will be fine. There won't be any. But the reason why this question is here is because some things do wear more easily and some are more hard wearing. So compare caviar and lambskin, for example. Caviar is just naturally a little bit more robust. You can be a tiny bit more carefree, versus lambskin. If you're going to be just as carefree, you're going to get a lot more scuffs on it. So ask yourself if you're okay with it. And if you're very risk averse to those things, then you have to avoid the materials that are going to get more wear and tear, because that's just a natural thing. It will happen no matter what. Even gold will have wear and tear, and it's a really robust material. So yeah.
I think wear and tear is very difficult to answer. If you are not sure if you want to keep the item forever. You see, it's like, I always compare to buying handbags like buying a car. When you first pay this huge chunk of money for a car and you start to use it, your car immediately depreciates because you're using it, it's on the road, it's getting a little scratch, hairline scratches, which you can't see, and you get the first dent. And it's unavoidable. But on another view, another lens is that you are using your item, you are paying to use the item. So you shouldn't be afraid of wear and tear because you are using your items with no expectation of selling it. I think that's the mindset, right? Because we always have the mindset that, okay, in a few years, I'm going to sell this bag. That's why that fear of wear and tear is the right material. It will always be there because you're already expecting to let that bag go in a couple of years. Then maybe you should ask yourself, are you paying the right price for it?
Yes, Kat, it's true. But I also, I think about people like my mom, for example. And I think, yes, you're right. Like the mindset of thinking that maybe you're going to let go of something is totally not the right mindset if you're going to consider buying something. Totally agree with that. But there's also another group of people, or maybe that's just maybe the upbringing is a little different, where to them to own anything luxury is such a extraordinary, like unachievable thing. So, well, which I don't know why they would buy luxury, but let's say you want to buy luxury, for them they're so protective of that thing staying pristine, because in their mind, if it's ruined, then I don't know, it's the end of the world. Like, obviously it's not, but like, that's how they feel. Yeah. So I guess if that's the case, then right, then you have to ask yourself, is it really for you?
Yeah.
Or like I said, just buy the more robust material. And maybe you also just need to shift your mindset a little bit as well, just to tell yourself that, you know what, this is my first luxury item. It's very expensive. I am scared. It's okay to acknowledge that. But I am going to just bite the bullet and buy it because I am worth it and I deserve it because I worked hard for it. And I'm just going to use it. And no matter what happens, I'm going to try my best to not let bad things happen, but no matter what happens, I'll deal with it then. But to have the fear of wear and tear just because your fear that you may or may not decide to buy that item, then maybe, yeah, the item's not for you. So yeah.
I think for this question, if we buy luxury also, when we look at wear and tear, I think we also consider it as, is the price that we are going to pay. So that's why it's really down the line, because it's really digging deep already. Like, is the price that we're going to pay for this item worth this material and this design and this, the whole structure of the bag because of wear and tear? So I'm just going to take an example, like let's say like Chanel lambskin, super expensive, but you know that the wear and tear is, there will be wear and tear. It's really, really hard to take care of. You just have to be very mindful with that bag. So then after asking all those questions that we said, they said, what about wear and tear? It's like sort of really down the line because you've already passed that. Yes, I want it. I need it. FOMO.
Yeah. So dig deep.
Deep.
Okay, but last but not least, oh, this is such a good one. So if I get this item, okay, this item that I'm thinking of buying, would this item make something that I own already become obsolete? Oh.
Digging deep.
So an example for this is, well, actually, you had a really good example.
I had a good example. Yeah. So I don't have my bag with me. So I have currently, sorry, let me start again. I sold my multi-pochette because I decided that, I wasn't using all the 3 components. In fact, there were 5 components, right? The strap, the 3 pouches, and the chain. I was only using 1 component, which is the Pochette Accessoires lookalike. And I let that go and I said, okay, I have a gap now. Nothing obsolete, but I have a gap because that was my pandemic bag. I was using it every day. So what did I bring into my collection? I brought in my Longchamp bag. So I did a really short video just because people were asking how to fit in it. Super cheap. I think the bag was under maybe like $200. Lambskin, made in France, beautiful, and it suits what I need. And I have been using that bag every single day now. I run out the door, I grab the bag. It's my errands bag. It is my current used bag. And now I have a problem because I'm getting a little bored. I mean, not bored. I mean, there is wear and tear. Okay, there is wear and tear. I am not babying that bag because it's not that expensive and I am using it. But I have an issue right now because if I bring something in to my collection that fulfills this bag's current responsibility, that bag is obsolete. And do I sell it and go through the whole issue of selling it? Or should I just wear that bag down? So this question, actually, I'm facing right now, like, is something going to be obsolete? And I know if I bring a new handbag to do it, this is going to be obsolete. Even though it's not expensive, but it's still an item in my collection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a very good example. Mine is actually the opposite of yours. My experience is, so I've always had my Twice bag, which is an amazing LV bag that's been discontinued. But ever since I bought the Pochette, Mitzi Pochette, I have been ignoring the Twice bag. Actually, I think the Twice bag has been ignored a few times. I think when I brought in, can't remember now, but I brought in a few other bags before that. I think it was like a few of my Fendi bags. Like I was just using the Fendi instead of this one. At one point I was using the Gabrielle instead of this one. There was just like always something else that made me favor it. I'm not even sure if it was temporary because it's almost like I don't know how to say it in English, but in Chinese it's 贪新忘舊. So you're literally like, you're just, because it's so new, it's shiny and everything, you're in such a honeymoon phase with that item that you're ignoring another really beautiful item and super practical item in your closet. So when I owned the Muzi Pochette, I really loved it. Obviously, it was the coolest bag ever. But at the same time, I had this guilt as well. I'm like, I'm not using anything else. Like, what is wrong with me? And there's nothing wrong with the Twice either. Like, it's just as practical. It's just as good as the pandemic bag for me. So it was kind of the opposite experience of you. I almost feel like sorry.
Continue first. Yeah.
I was going to say, I almost feel like this question is applicable to some of my other Chanel bags too. I feel like I reach for my Chanel bags all the time, and I'm kind of ignoring my LV. Yeah, exactly. That's what happened to my LVs too. I wasn't using my Speedy. I wasn't using any of my LV bags. And I can't remember how many I sold now. I think I sold my Speedy. I already forgot, but that's good. I forgot about it. See, that's the thing. They are just there. I have it in my collection. They're beautiful classics, but just because it's a classic doesn't mean anything if you're not using it. True. So yeah, this is a really, truly you have to dig deep. And are you okay with it if it's just going to stay in the corner?
True. I think this is also quite similar to the question that we asked. Do you have something similar in your bag? I mean, in your collection. But I think at that point of asking that question is still quite surface, because you may say, oh, it's okay. It's quite similar, but not really the same. It's just that when you actually think about it, well, because it's similar, does it also function similarly? And then are you gonna now forget about this bag? Which actually you don't think about it at the start. You're just like, it's okay. I'm adding, I might need this for work. I might need this for running errands. But then something actually becomes obsolete. And so I'm not buying any bags at the moment.
Well, I think for your Longchamp, just use it.
I'm using it, yeah.
Yeah, just use it till it breaks. Eventually it will. If it
will actually. I use it all the time. I can see it already, like, oh man, you poor thing. But yeah, it feels good.
Yeah, exactly. It feels good to use your items. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed our 10 questions. I'm sure we didn't even cover a lot of them, but these are like so basic in a way, but so helpful if you actually do ask yourself that every time, which I know I don't always. Sometimes those passion purchases, oh my gosh, they're bad. Okay, so again, a reminder for the remainder of the portion of this live show, remember to put question marks in front of your questions so that we can easily spot them. Okay, let me go to the comment section.
I think I also want to add that these questions are not meant to deter you from buying. It's not to say that we are making you ask these questions so deep and then finally you say, no, I give up. I don't want to buy anymore. It's more about asking the right questions and say, okay, I think this is the right purchase, making the right decision. Because you could answer all of them and say, yes, 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 no, no, no. And okay, I'll still get the bag. It could still be like that.
Yes. Okay, so Bags and Bunny, is this real love? Yeah.
Yeah.
But see, the love part, because you know how like we define passion purchase as something that you just really love, and no matter what it like other factors. So is that a dangerous question to ask? I almost wonder. But yeah, it is a question. You got to ask yourself that too.
Is it real love or is it puppy love?
Yeah. True. Just bought the headband from Dior. Something nicer about the luxe version. Yes. Let's see. From Holly, the next question I asked myself, would it be better or smarter to buy pre-loved? Oh, yeah. Sometimes pre-loved is the answer too.
Good question.
That's
so we're
right.
going to do something different for this week onwards. We're going to try, okay? No promises because it's a lot of work. But we had a comment from, was it last week's live? I think it was last week's live. Somebody asked us to do time stamping of questions because 2 hours is too long. So we're going to try, right? We'll, because we had to review the comments and all, but we'll try to put time stamps for the questions that we dive deep into, so that if you review this again, like you watch it from wherever you are, you can just go straight to the question, because 2 hours is too long.
Well, that's so Kat wanted, Kat discussed that comment with me, because I think it was on your channel when this comment was brought up, and I agree and I disagree at the same time, because although we will try it, I disagree because a lot of the thoughts that we have is not necessarily about that question. It's also just like to add to, you know how like we sometimes go in a tangent, not because we always go into a tangent, but because it's kind of related. And so you're not really even answering the question at that point. So I feel like to listen to the whole show is a more natural progression of how it should work. Although I understand if you are just interested in one question and you just want to listen to that, then yes, go ahead. But yeah, maybe it won't be sustainable for us to just, like, let's say I pulled this comment out and we just talk about it for 2 seconds and we won't put it on the timestamp, because that won't make any sense, right? Yeah. So yeah, for the love of bags, I use my credit card for points and cash back. Exactly. And then pay in full. That is the way that I go about too.
Yeah, cheers. Same. I pay it with my credit card. I'm like, okay, if I feel like I'm feeling like the right day, I'll pay it when I go home. But sometimes I'll be like, just wait until the points accumulate.
Yeah. Yeah, that is, I mean, it adds up, because especially with luxury, if you think about it, if you're buying just a coffee here, coffee there, yeah, 1% is not much. But when you're buying luxury, it's thousands or tens of thousands of dollars, right? Depending on how much you spend. That can rack up, like that can add up to, I don't know,
A
coffee
lot.
for a week. I don't know. Like, yeah, it can be a lot. I just gave my red classic flap clutch sent to consignment as I bought a caramel mini. Yes.
Congrats. So this is the whole 1 in, 1 out. Can I let go of something else?
V-Star says number 4 is very hard. I think that was the can't remember now. Was it FOMO?
No, number 4 is, do I really need it? I think.
Ah, right. Okay.
Yeah. That's when we start to like dig into our heart.
Yes. This is a really cool comment. Lifestyle is an expensive lesson. Buying luxury, as in anything in life, is trial and error. There's no one formula, I find. It's we did a lot of trial and errors, and it's okay. That is how you learn in life anyway.
One that I can think of right now at the top of my head, and Amy, you have the same bag, is the Delvaux. Yeah, that's a trial and error, because we got caught up I think I got caught up in the whole hype of the Delvaux.
Oh, me too.
And I do think it's a good bag, like with the whole handle and strap and all. But I never reviewed my lifestyle to see whether do I need such a gigantic bag. And the answer is no, Kat, you don't need such a gigantic bag in your life. So yeah, lifestyle is a very expensive lesson.
You know what? I did review the lifestyle question. And I still went with it. Yes, I had FOMO, and also I thought that I just loved it enough to just own it. No, that's not enough. For me, love is important, but it needs to be something that I will use. So for me, am I gonna use it? Do I really need it, basically? Because if I need it, then I'll use it. It's so important, because for me to just collect and just use an item once in a blue moon is not good enough for me. So yeah, learn my lesson hard for sure. Maria, lifestyle changes can also drive selling bags to get new bags that fit better. Yes, definitely. Okay. V Star has this question, but I don't know if maybe the audience can also help us. For those who are moms, does becoming a mom change your criteria? I'm into mini bags now, no kids. But does becoming a mom mean needing bigger bags?
You know, this is a good question, actually. Yeah, any moms can help us out because, well, I'm not a mom. You're a mom.
Yeah, but
do you need
she's
bigger
a
bags?
teenager now, so she's old enough to carry her own things.
But you know, actually, I think of it, if I reflect on my mom, I feel like she needs a bigger bag because she's always fulfilling the needs of her kids. Even until now, at my ripe older age, I'm always asking my mom, like, Mommy, do you have a plaster? Mommy, do you have a nail clipper? Mommy, do you have a scissors? Do you have any tissue? And she carries that along with her until today. She carries this gigantic, sack of a bag filled with things. And I always tell her, like, why do you carry so many things? But when I need something, I'm like, don't worry, my mom got. So, and lo and behold, she'll whip out things like tissues, nail clippers, scissors, pens, papers, checkbooks.
Wow, she has everything.
But I think it is, they do carry bigger bags because of that. Well, kids, they need it.
Yeah, okay, joke aside, yes, I have a teenager now, but she was at one point very young. But when I met her, she was already 4.5. So she wasn't like a baby, right? She was still kind of old enough to have her own thoughts already and to have her own preferences. 4.5 for a girl is they are more mature. I find they mature faster than boys. But regardless of that, I would say that you would change for sure because especially when they are just born up until they become their own person and are able to walk and carry their own things. So probably when they start preschool, that's when you can be more free and you can start wearing the bags that you like more again. But for those few years in the beginning, you're probably gonna need bigger bags. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't have your mini bags, because I see a lot of moms, they still carry their mini bags, but they'll also have
like a tote.
Another bag. Yes, another tote with everything inside. Because yeah, it's true. When my daughter was younger, you had to carry snacks all the time. You had to carry water, an extra sweater. Like those are still things that even when they were younger, but not baby, they still need. You have to distract them with, well, not distract them. They always get hungry. They have to go to the toilet. Like, there's so many things. Just have to be extra prepared in that sense. But luckily, I guess we're in North America too. So anywhere we go by car. So a lot of times you just dump that tote in the car, and whenever you need it, just grab it from. So it's not like you actually have to carry it all the time. And especially me, I'm not the strongest person out there. But yeah, you do need, maybe in addition to your minis that you love, you will need
a tote,
your tote or your diaper bags, basically your bags where you have everything, and scissors.
But it's true, when my niece and nephew were young, you have to, when you go out, you have to pack the emergency. So maybe they're running around, they fall down, they need a change of clothes, they're sweating, so you need to bring towels because they sweat a lot. Kids sweat a lot. I don't know why. They're just like hyperactive.
They run around.
They do all kinds of, they touch dirty things that you need wipes. And I don't even have children, I know, okay? Because I have friends with kids that they bring this gigantic bag, and I'm like, what in the world is in your bag? Change of clothes, food, books, toys, towels, shampoo, things like that, because you never know what will happen when your kid is outside.
It's true. But it luckily it's for the first few years. I feel like, as I said, once they go to preschool, they start to want to carry their own things anyway.
Yeah.
They want their little backpack with their own Game Boy and all those things. If you still play Game Boys, what is it now? Now it's the other one, the Switch.
Switch, yeah.
Anyway,
Game Boys
I know. We had Game Boys. No, I didn't have one. My brothers did.
The gray thing.
Yes. Oh, the Switch is so cool. I mean, wow. Wherever you go, you can connect to the TV. Oh my gosh, it's so high tech now.
We had Tetris.
And believe trendy can be fun, but I feel like it takes time to think through if a luxury style will work for you, and trendy bags often have to be bought quickly. Yes. Yes. For this reason, I generally avoid them. So yeah, if your rule of thumb is to avoid them, then good for you. Yeah, I guess I have a bit of that. I always say before, when not necessarily trendy, but if it's a new item, like a new style, and you want to get it, you either get it early or you get it much, much later when no one cares about it as much, because maybe you can find it pre-loved and save more money. But I tend to, if I know that I like that style, I will get it early because that's the cheapest it'll ever be retail. It's hard, yeah, for trendy items too, because if it's trendy, it also means that everyone wants it and it will be sold out very quickly. I mean, just look at the Gucci Marmont. It was crazy. Their belts, their bags. At one point, it was very hard to get too, I think. Especially the belts was always very, very hard to get. Okay, from Clara. I'm always so safe with neutral colors, but my Chanel essay told me seniors prefer bright colors, so I'm wondering if I'm too safe. I sometimes ask, will I ever wear this when I'm 60? Good question. What do you think, Kat?
I think the seniors are right. Like I have seen more seniors carry colors than I don't know. I don't know what goes on in their heads. When ask this question when I'm a senior.
I know. Clara, I want to ask maybe you back. Have you ever been at any point in your life before where you were into colors then? Because maybe that will come back when you can go to parties after parties when you're semi-retired. Because I feel like I would add color back later. I have color, but it's it's red. It's still pretty safe. And it's not like I have that many. I have two. And I do used to dress very colorful. Honestly, if I lived in a very tropical climate, I will be in colors all the time. But in the winter, it's hard. Like, yeah, brown, big brown coat, just one color all the way, or black, boring boots. Anyway. Oh, and Believe is answering your question. Yes, my bag needs to definitely be changed as a mom. What I didn't think about it was how it would continue to change throughout the different ages. Yes, definitely.
Even when your kids are 40.
That is so funny. I don't know because my mom doesn't live close to me, so I only see her once a year. I haven't even seen her last year and this year, so I don't think I asked my mom for anything.
Not even in her handbag. Sometimes it's like, oh, do I have a tissue? Mommy got tissue.
Oh yeah, tissue. Yeah, tissue.
Whatever. Like they have everything.
True,
Sometimes occasionally, like, do you might you have a nail clipper?
Actually, I asked for tissues and I asked for money because I never have cash on me. It's like, oh mom, do you have $2?
Yeah.
No, not money. Just credit card. They don't take credit card.
Oh, that's so funny.
Okay, Serena, do you think the Chanel 19 is a trendy bag? Does it have lasting power? Is it going to stand the test of time? Okay, we get this question all the time. I have my opinion. How do you feel about it, Kat? Because since you don't own it, maybe you can be more objective than me.
I wonder, whether the trendy will be like the boy.
Yeah.
Where it will always have a market because it's a different bag. and it's a functional bag because it's just a flat bag. It's different. It will suit different styles. So, but with the boy, sort of plateaued, right? It's not dipping. I think it's plateaued. I still see a lot of ladies buy bags like Chanel boy bag, and I still see a lot of people carry it. But in terms of the hype, where it never spiked like the Gucci Marmont, where it just went whoa exponential. It sort of went like a little bit like this, and I feel like the Chanel 19 is also the same. Yes, it was a slight peak, but then after a while it just continued on. It's a little ascending journey. So I think it's gonna be a little bit like the boy, and or maybe also a little bit like the Gabrielle, and to me that's okay, because there's always a market for it. You either love it, and you continue to love it, and once you use it, you really love it. So I don't think it will ever just become too trendy and no longer be appealing to everyone. And I feel that's Chanel's tactic, because they don't have very trendy bags. Their trendiest bag also is sort of a little bit different, but actually it's very functional forever and ever. So I think it will stand the test of time.
Yeah.
As long as you use it and it suits you.
Yes, very good answer. It's a very well-rounded answer. Basically, this question is hard to answer. It depends on you, because I guess for me, I personally think it will have lasting power and stand the test of time because I actually use the bag. So do you like it enough and will you use it? Those to me goes hand in hand, because obviously I have to like something before I want to buy it, but I also need to need something for me to buy it, because if I need something and I like it, then naturally I will use it a lot. Now, this already is a big plus. So everything else, is it too trendy? Is it FOMO? All those things is almost less important, because if I'm already going to use it, then I don't have to worry about resale value so much. And I know it will have resale value. I mean, it's a Chanel. At the end of the day, you keep your things in good condition. It's a Chanel. It's a permanent style. It will have some sort of resale value. And by the time you retire your bag, let's say you really change your mind years later, there would have been many price increases. So certain brands do better in the resale than others. Chanel is one of them that does relatively well compared to, say, Valentino, Prada, those things. Yeah, ask yourself, not only is it too trendy, but do you actually like it?
Mm-hmm.
And then will you actually use it? Those two questions are maybe more important than is it trendy, because maybe, like, I guess everyone's answer for this question is either yes or no, because some people might think that it's still a very classic looking bag, whereas others are like, no, this is not a classic flap. No, it's trendy. Both are valid answers. Yeah. And then Joe says, never say never for the Chanel 19. Exactly.
I want it.
Yeah.
Maybe one day. But it's just gone out so much. It's gone out so much that I personally am saying, okay, if I'm going to buy it, I'm going to buy my Gabrielle first.
Yeah, buy the
and
one
Gabrielle
that
is
you're
another
use.
bag. Yeah, it's another bag that went like this, and never speak like that. Not like I always see the Gucci Marmont as a extreme peak. It just skyrocketed, and everyone had it, which is not a bad thing, right? But because of that, maybe if you're exposed to social media, you just saw it everywhere, and when you see something too much, like a buffet line, you're just like, I don't know what to do with it anymore. So it sort of tapered, and maybe because of that high dip, it tanked, and now it's sort of plateauing. But with Chanel bag, like Gabrielle is another one that's sort of like a little bit, it's just like, going up. It is plateaued really, but I still see a lot of people carry it.
Just carried it last week. Yeah. Exactly. I don't see the Gabrielle going anywhere, and even if it does, I don't know. It's fine to own something that's discontinued. Even better. Not everyone's gonna have it. Okay, I'm bag happy. Top 3 questions for myself is, do I really love it? or am I just being swayed? Number 2, do I have something else in my collection that looks similar? Number 3, can I use it with most of my wardrobe? Yes. Very smart. Miss B, FOMO in Canada is so true. Very hard. It's harder here. No time to think. Exactly. I'm not even thinking. I'm like, just charge your. I always usually try to ask my SA to charge my credit card, which more than half of the time she says no. Especially for bags, she always says no. You can't. You have to be there. I'm like, okay. But if it's like a small item or a pair of earrings, then she'll be fine. I love the soft flap bag. I decided last year on a denim impression. They got
none.
Yeah, because they got none. Had to turn to reseller. Wow. Exactly. Yeah. We don't always get everything. And on top of that, so we have different stores, right? One in each big city. Toronto has 2. And the thing is, we all get different stocks. We don't even get the same stock everywhere. We get different stocks. I think I'm already kind of lucky that Vancouver actually gets enough, even though we only have 1 store. I think Toronto probably gets the most because they are also, I think they're like 3 times our population. So they have 2, they used to have 3 stores, now they have 2, I think. So naturally they have more stock as well. But yeah, it's FOMO is a real thing here. And I had to learn it the hard way, which is why I feel like I'm always hustling. I don't know why I always felt stressed for so many years with my with building my Chanel collection.
Well, I can appreciate that now after I had my first ever chase. First ever. I mean, I've been buying it for a long time, but this is my first ever chase for the caramel bag. Oh my god.
Yeah, you know why? Because that, okay, first of all, it's a mini. Mini is already hard to get in any color. On top of that, it's a caramel. Oh my gosh. End of world.
Yeah,
Drop your mic, just go get it.
Dying there. I was dying. I was going, okay, to yell at the taxi driver, like, can you just drive faster? Can you just put your foot on the pedal? Oh my god, another traffic light. Oh my god.
I remember. You're keeping me up to date. I'm like, oh no. But in the end, I was like, if it's yours, it's yours.
Yeah, mine is mine.
Okay, you just gotta try. You just gotta try.
For a bag.
I know. It's as silly as it is. It was also fun, right?
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
The excitement and everything. I mean, it would suck if you didn't get it, but
I mean, my hair was like this when I reached the store. You know, it was like.
Good thing you run fast.
I know.
Okay, for the love of bags, these are really great questions to ask yourself. Do you find it harder to add other handbag brands beside Hermes or Chanel to your collection? Definitely yes, I think. Oh, okay. I will say yes now because I used to own a few more brands before. Valentino, Saint Laurent, Fendi. I even own Gucci. So now that I don't have those anymore, I still have a Celine. I find myself, because I'm so focused and brand loyal, and I also noticed the trend for myself, like whenever I try to grab for that Gucci Marmont mini bag, I put stuff in it. I always end up removing it and put it in a Chanel instead. It's just something that I did. And I've noticed that so often that I feel like now I just know. Call me a snob, it is fine. But I am going to use my Chanel bags or my, well, I don't know Hermes yet, but I am going to use my Chanel bags and some LV bags. So why not just buy exactly what I will use? So I will say yes to that question. I do find it harder to look elsewhere now.
Mm.
Yeah.
absolutely agree. Mine is LV. I love LV, and I always want to buy LV. And now that I have, and I also actually I love all three. So LV, Chanel, and Hermes. I have some pre-loved Hermes, but aside for these three, it's really, really hard for me to buy other brands. So I did venture into YSL because of the puffer, right? I thought, okay, let's, I'd like the style, but I think I can't commit. And I do like the version, but it takes a lot, a lot of real discount for me to actually consider going into the other brands. But I really agree with what you said, Amy, about how using the bag makes me feel. So how does the Longchamp make me feel compared to my Chanel camera bag? It's worlds apart. Like you say, call me a snob. I want to feel good when I carry my bag. And I'm not out there to show off, but I internally want to feel good. And I feel good when I carry my bougie bags, okay? So if I already know that I don't feel bougie in other bag brands, therefore, why should I be adding that into my collection? Right. So I do think it's not that it's a never say never, but it takes a lot. Like I will think through it. Like, should I buy this bag from Michael Kors or Coach or whatever? I think hard about it. Or let's say should I buy this bag from another bag from YSL or Cartier's bag? I actually think a lot, even though they are high-end brands, but they don't make me feel as good as what I carry with my other bags. So don't waste my money, basically.
Yeah, that was a great example. Another example I can think of, clothes. So, 5 or let's say $20 t-shirt from Uniqlo, plain, let's say, versus well, I have Balmain t-shirts, for example, that I can compare to. It's just different. Like you just feel more on when you're wearing your designer t-shirt. Sorry, what?
You feel put together?
Yeah, even though it's just a t-shirt. And it's not to put down Uniqlo or any fast fashion, because I also own a ton of fast fashion. There is a time and place for the casual cheap t-shirts that you don't have to worry about wear and tear or your nephew spitting on you, whatever, when he was a baby. Like, there is a time and place, because even if he spit on my Balmain, I'm just gonna wash it. That's fine. But it's just, you just know that sometimes some stains don't come off. So you gotta be prepared for that. So yeah. So one time, yeah, I think I was wearing a silk shirt from Lily Silk, and he spit on it. Obviously, it's not his fault. He was a baby, and I was completely fine with it because I know silk washes very easily, and it came off and everything. But had it been something,
the Balmain jacket,
yeah, oh yeah, exactly. That would have been painful to spot clean and then also bring it to the dry cleaner, right? So there's just a time and place for everything. But great question. Okay, KN, I can't resist a sale. So now I need to ask if I would buy this if it was full price. That is a great question. That is a great question to ask yourself. Yes.
can I buy this at full price?
I think for me, this would apply to trendy items. So if it's a trendy item that I'm considering, am I so in love and needing that item that I would actually buy it full price? If I am, then chances are I'm going to love it for a long time and I might not regret it. Yeah, it only applies to trendy items because Chanel and Hermes doesn't go on sale. So yeah, for sure. Or depend, maybe applicable for clothing, for ready to wear, for example. Okay. I think FOMO is more for YouTube world. It's fun for you to share and say, hey, I got this hard to get bag. I personally don't get FOMO over a bag. Oh, is it? Is it just for the YouTube world?
Could be because it's always in your face. And if you're not really into the social media world, maybe you're not in tune to the speed of the things. Maybe, I don't know, but maybe for bag, because FOMO for bag is quite difficult. But Canada, like you said, Canada is a strange animal because you get nothing or one, which actually, even without social media, it's just you just get nothing.
Yeah, obviously YouTube doesn't help.
It doesn't help.
It really doesn't help. It amplifies it, but I still feel like I would have FOMO. Just because I know how it is. I know how the game is played. Because they only get so many. But they have so many more people wanting the same thing. I think I would still have FOMO. Okay, bags and bunnies. Do you track your luxury spending or value of your collection? I made a spreadsheet recently to figure out the amount for home insurance and decided to put a cap on value for my collection. Good question. Do you?
No.
Neither. We're terrible.
I don't know. I don't want to know. I'm sorry. I have to admit it. I don't want to know because once I start adding it up, then I have this huge guilt factor. No, it's okay. I don't want to know. But it's a wise thing to do when it comes to home insurance. And it's really good advice. But I don't track my luxury. I don't track and I don't want to know. Sorry, I don't want to know.
Yeah, bags and bunnies. I totally think that you are so well prepared and smart to do it. I think the reason why I don't do it also is because I don't want to know. I mean, I have an idea. You just look around, just like make mental calculations. You already know how much. I actually asked this question to one of my friends who owns several. Her Hermes collection is really, really big. In my opinion, it's big. Like not as big as say, what's her name on YouTube?
Jamie Chua.
Yeah, like nothing like that. But to me, let's say to own more than 10 Hermes bags to me is a lot. Okay, so
there's a lot.
Yeah, so and those are not the only stuff, right? There's other things in the house. So I asked her, I'm like, so did you actually go ahead and insure every single of your bags, right? And I know her collection still moves around. She does sell and buy. And her answer was also very smart, and it's sort of one of those things where yes and no. So she does have a cap, like you said, too, because she's, very aware of the value and the amount of how much these things cost. But at the same time, she's also taking a gamble in a way because I almost feel like, how do you tell your insurance person that works with you, how do you tell them that you want to insure, I don't know,
$100 million.
Yeah. In bags.
All right, in bags. You can count it already, right? 10 bags times 15 is 100,000. If that some of them are like Croc, they're like 30,000. That's like it's a tricky one.
Yeah.
It's a tricky one.
It is. So for me, I almost feel like I look at my collection. It's still moving, but it's not moving a ton. It's moving a little. It has moved a little bit only because I had done a bit of a purge. But yeah, it is almost like a gamble. Like, God forbid there is a fire, I'm gonna be devastated, because even if I get money back from insurance that still replaces everything, I can't rebuy these things.
Yeah,
you can't find these things anymore. Like the limited edition colors of my Coco handle, you can't buy those. The classic pieces in black, sure, you can buy them, but it's not gonna be the same bag. And so yeah, hopefully those things don't happen. But great question. Joe, Kat, which Hermes leathers are your favorite, especially for the hot and humid weather?
Okay, good one. Um, Actually, Togo is good. And also Swift. I find Swift leather quite okay for our uninspiring hot and humid weather. You know, when we have such expensive bags in our collection, I would say keep your very expensive Hermes bags where you would turn on the aircon more often. So I actually store my bags where where I will turn on the aircon regularly, or I have a dehumidifier because this weather, it doesn't have to be any leather. It can be any leather. I mean, it is very, very harsh on leather. Humidity is so bad, so high. It's hard to take care of leathers. So for me, so far, the ones that seem to be okay is Swift and Togo. Clements, I wonder, because I don't know. I haven't done the analysis, but I do wonder whether Clements is not such a good leather for this humid weather. It's yeah. I just wonder if anybody knows. Let me know. I just feel that it isn't, because when I had my Lindy, it just didn't look so. It didn't look as good as what I thought. It just looked as if it's very heavy, and anyway, that's me. Hot and humid weather for Clements, I'm not sure. So far, Togo is okay and Swift is okay. What else? Epsom might be a good one, but I cannot verify yet.
What do you mean by it didn't look so good though?
Because you see, leather soaks up humidity.
Yeah.
So I found that my bag sunk a lot. Sinks. Its head it looks worn even more. But I don't know whether that's just Clemence's natural state, or it had something to do with the weather that accelerated it. It just looks very like after a while. But of course, my bag was still new. But then I started to observe other Clemence bags. The most common would be like the Picotin. Yeah, they don't look so good in this weather. And I actually don't know. This is my theory that there is something to do with the leather and the weather.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, if anybody who is very familiar can let me know whether humidity affects Clemence.
Yeah.
I will prove my theory. It doesn't look so good.
Yeah, it would be good to know if it's just because the leather is like that and it slouches very, very much, since it's such a heavy, thick leather, right? Okay. Rana wants to know, with all the price increases, would you still recommend the Pochette Accessories, LV Pochette Accessories? You mean the regular one? The one, just the Pochette Accessoires, right? Yeah, it costs more than 1,000 now. It's insane.
Yeah, I'll go for it.
You go for it?
I go for it. It's still fairly reasonable if you're using it as a bag. I found it to be very functional.
Okay, so you go for it for this one, but what about the Multi Pochette, just in case she's talking about that one?
Okay. It's what, 3,000 now?
Yeah.
It's 2009, I think, in Singapore or something like that.
It's over 3,000 here.
Okay.
With tax.
No. No, I'm sorry. It's very pricey, and I think it's because we bought it
early.
Earlier. For me, it's earlier, and well, not really that early, right? We sort of had 1 or 2 price increases already, but definitely not the 3,000 mark. So knowing that, I think think we are a bit biased. I'm a bit biased that I would say no.
I agree with you because, okay, so this is the next question. That's the reason why I asked you.
Mm.
Bags and Bunny wants to know why I sold my Mitzi Pochette instead of the twice. And that is exactly the reason, because the Mitzi Pochette keeps going up in price and it was still very sought after. And because I was able to sell to a very lovely local subby at a much better price than retail. So not only was I able to sell and get my money back, but she was able to get a better price item. And it was still a very relevant, very sought after item, even to this date. And now it's well over $3,000. So it's a win-win situation. Whereas if I sold my twice, I wouldn't have gotten as much. The twice is not that it doesn't have the resale value, but if people were to just look around and say they that's what people do, right? I know like subbies don't do that because they're nice and everything, but there's also other groups of people who will just try and they'll be like, oh, Fashion File is selling it for so and so. Then I'd be like, okay, buy it at Fashion File. But that's the thing, like I don't want to be, I just want to avoid that situation because I already know that it's not going to be as good of a resale anyway. And they both serve the same purpose. And that is exactly what I said in my video too. Like if I were to sacrifice things in my collection to recuperate money, might as well sacrifice things that will actually get value, get enough value that I can recuperate money. So that is why, not because I don't like the bag. We both really think that the bag is so cool. But yeah, it is very expensive now. I don't know if I would rebuy it though. It's very expensive. Over 3 is crazy. Okay, Winnie, what are your thoughts on, oh, YouTuber Alyssa got her Birkin 30 and SO offer with such minimal pre-spend and her age journey has only been 6 months. I did not know that.
Wow. I didn't know that she had a SO.
Wow.
Well done.
I know. I mean, I only feel like good for her.
Wow. Wow.
This is
Dang. Dang. I'm envious.
Yeah,
but I'm
I think
happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy, envious, like, wow, what a girl did you do? Let me know your secrets.
Is she in New York or something?
Yeah. Big city.
I will say I don't think you can do this here, but I'm almost certain that you cannot do it. I'm just saying that I don't think you can, but I'm almost certain you can't do it here. I'm almost certain you can't do it in Singapore or Hong Kong or Australia. Yeah. There are just some stores in the world that you are not going to be able to do that. So I am super happy for her, and they probably see her as like a
potential customer.
Yeah, just someone that comes back all the time. And who wouldn't? If I was offered what I wanted to begin with and an SO right after that, I'd be like, I'm a customer for life.
You
treat me good.
Wow.
Shanna says, what about love at first sight? I guess that's kind of like the same thing as like the passion purchases, right? How do you feel about your passion purchases so far?
Okay, let me think of a passion purchase. Have I made any passion purchases lately? What was a passion purchase?
Your LV, what is it called again?
Oh, this guy. Yeah. I love it. My valise, my little.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. That was do so many of it. Don't do so many of it. That's the answer. Like, you're okay to do some, but don't everything fall in love and buy, because then, unless you have unlimited funds, then it's it's not wise, because love at first sight, right? The word is first sight. I think it's okay to do if you want to, just don't do it so often.
I feel the same way. It's okay, just not all the time. Okay, so Lily just told us that her location is a large factor. I think she's referring to Alyssa because she lives in New Jersey, which is, it's right beside New York City, which we have seen other YouTubers that live in New York City also able to score their items. I mean, their quota bags with little pre-spend compared to the rest of the world. Okay. Which is also what I think MK tells us, right? If you're in France, it's not like you keep tabs on how much you spend. You just kind of ask if they have it, they'll offer it to you type of thing. Obviously, if you are a local and they recognize you, that also helps, right? If they have it, why won't they offer it to you? Like, that's the whole point. Whereas here, everyone wants it. Everyone wants it. Therefore, they have to do certain things to get it, because it's very similar to the Chanel situation where everyone wants it. There has been so many different, I know I'm going into a tangent again, but there has been so many different systems that over the years of me shopping at Chanel, at first it was first come, first serve. So you literally line up almost as early as 6 a.m. sometimes just to wait for the door to open at 10. I know, crazy. Just to maybe have a chance to buy it, because you don't even know how many they get. If they get one and you're the first in line, then yeah, you're lucky. Well, you can buy it. But if they have 3 and you're fourth in line, then it's over. Whereas at one point they changed it to a lottery system. So SAs will have their name drawn, and whoever SA wins will get the chance to sell one of the sought after bag to their clients. But even within their pool of clients, they have to choose someone. And I don't know how they choose it. I know the honest SAs will go by the order of when it was asked. But there could be other SAs where they just have a favorite client and they might just choose that client. You know what I mean? So it's unfair, but it is what it is. It's just, yeah, supply and demand. Okay, I'm bag happy. In your opinion, what are the telltale signs of a trendy piece? When it pops up everywhere from every brand, influencer driven? Yes and yes. Yeah. I think that's
they tend to be the newer bags first. And so I think, Amy, you were sharing about how the Chanel 19 was something that you had to jump on, because with it's a trendy bag, but Chanel is still kind of safe. But a trendy bag, the thing is, you have to jump on it early so you get the best price. But you could also take the safer route as just wait and see, but then you will run the risk of the price increasing because it might become a classic. So I think that formula is also used by a lot of the other houses, or Chanel as well, where they come up with a bag really quickly at the start, and then everybody has this in thinking that, okay, this could be a good deal to buy upfront first, and then we'll see where it goes. And therefore, you use a lot of influencer to drive it, and you get a lot of exposure to the item. So do you take the risk to wait and see, or just buy it upfront, even though you might run the risk of it being a trendy bag?
These are very hard to answer questions, even though we are bringing them up to your attention at the beginning of this live show. And it's making it harder nowadays as well, because compared to, I don't know how many years ago, even 30 years ago, when there was no internet and you only get to know about these things through magazines and newspapers or word of mouth, then the decision to get something was so much easier in a way, because you don't have so many options and you don't get bombarded by information. So with this day and age, yes, internet is amazing. You get to connect with, people that live very far away through, even like YouTube like this. You guys get to see us live and everything. It's amazing. And you don't have a choice anyway. You have to embrace it because that's the day and age that you live in. But everything comes with a pro and a con, right? So back then, you don't hear about updates, or you don't get as much information until you go to the library, look it up, or ask people, or research it, or read about it somehow, right? So that was the con back then, except that it was maybe easier to make certain decisions. You don't have that many choice. You just buy what's in front of you. Now, oh my gosh, tons and tons of options. You hear about it on YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram, everywhere. So you're bombarded with all that information and tons of options. Next thing you know, it's already not trendy anymore, and the new it thing has come up. So it's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing. So just embrace it as much as you can, but also knowing that that's a con in a way. So ask yourself all the time, just because it's a trendy item doesn't mean that it's bad, but you have to really dig deep and see if it's really something you need and that you're going to end up using. And if you're not going to end up using and it's sitting in the corner collecting dust, part of your collection, are you okay with that? Because a lot of people are too. So,
hard, this question. Telltale signs of a brand. But for me, one of the ways that I look at telltale, not of the bag, but I look at it from a brand in general. So the famous ones, right, that come out with a lot of trendy bags, Gucci is one. Like, every collection that they come out with, it's about longevity of their items. So I think we talked about it in one of the lives. I swear I cannot remember which live, but we talked about the longevity of a bag. Like, you want to know that your bag will continue to be sold by the brand. So like Gucci always discontinues their bags. Like, after a few seasons, they disappear, and there you're left with this bag that is already discontinued. And if it's discontinued, therefore you can never see price increases on that bag anymore, means your bag can only depreciate. Chanel and LV and of course Hermes tend to keep their bags, I would say, for eternity, in eternity for a luxury house, because then there's opportunity for them to increase the prices, and your bag will have value, in a sense, right? You bought a bag cheaper, it's going up. Not talking about reselling and getting your money back, getting a good price for it, but there is that value sitting there because it's still available for people to buy. But brands that tend to come up with a lot of trendy bags, they have to discontinue the bags very quickly. Otherwise, their shops will be exploding with bags. Gucci is one. Dior sadly is another one. Have you seen anybody carry a Bobby bag lately? No, I haven't. So they have they have a habit, okay? They have a habit of coming up with a bag, even if you don't talk about the influencers, right? Bags that just pop out and then you see them in magazines a lot. If do people see magazines? Okay, anyway, you just see them common like around. Then they just discontinue the bag. What?
Yeah.
So I tend to look at the brand in general. And when I look at the brand in general, then I pay more attention to their habit of producing bags to decide whether could this be a trendy bag. So the Chanel 19, it probably came out as a trendy bag. But if you look at the brand in general, they don't discontinue bags like this. They tend to keep a bag around 5, 6, 10 years. By then, you also boring lah, the bag. Ayo, boring already.
No, that is such a good point that you brought up. Look at also the brand. Yeah. Some brands tend to just stick around with the same, if not similar designs. And even if they bring a new one, it tends to stick around for years. Like, look at the boy alone.
Yeah,
years. Around for years. Yeah. Good one. Okay, Karina, what's Amy's Hermes combo? Dream combo. True. Happy Mother's Day weekend.
Yeah.
Yes, 25 neutral. I was open to hardware, but I think I really love gold or rose gold hardware. So any neutral, yes. I mean, I would have cat's bag if I can. Or, I mean, Itang is also really, really nice because it's kind of best of both worlds. You get a bit of gray. It looks like a black sometimes. So that would be a perfect combo with rose gold hardware. So nice. We'll see. Okay, I'm gonna just try to go through questions faster because I think we have so many more, but we have 20 minutes left, so we're still good. But okay, Van Cleef or Cartier, I already know the answer. Cartier, right?
Yeah, for sure. Van Cleef, no.
But they're sister company.
Are they a sister company? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they cater to a different crowd. I'm not their crowd. Too girly for me.
I agree. I have yet to visit their store. I do like the Sweet Alhambra line, but only in the the plain gold hardware, not with the charms. Meaning not with the, like the precious stone. I mean, yeah.
Mm-mm-mm.
Okay. Okay, Kobe girl wants to know about the Loewe hammock bag.
Hammock.
Not that many,
Okay.
not that many reviews. What do you think of the bag? So, okay, I at one point said that I liked it. It even appeared in one of my luxury wish list video. I think that was like on my early journey of luxury, just because I was kind of trying to explore everything, and the hammock always looked kind of different and interesting. And maybe at the time I was more into wanting to look different. But now, revisiting this and also thinking about the questions that we asked earlier, it's not that it's trendy, although it does kind of is trendy in a sense. But one day I went and felt the bag, and it wasn't even that big. It was very heavy.
Mm.
And the leather seemed a bit stiff for how the design was, because it's supposed to open kind of similar, not similar, but the same idea of slouching it once you close it, kind of like the
And
Lindy. But
Sinji in.
yeah, so I don't like it myself anymore, and I wouldn't go for it anymore. If I ask myself those questions, I wouldn't go for it anymore. That's how I feel about it now.
Mm. I
You?
agree. I don't. I've tried this bag in one of our live streams. We were going around and looking at other bags, and it won't suit my lifestyle
Mm.
because it's quite open. When I open it up like this, it's like a hammock, I guess, right? You open it up, heavy, and yeah, I don't love it. Like if the one of the questions was, is it love at first sight? No.
Yeah, I'm not so interested in it anymore. Okay, from Shanna. I did not do a wear and tear video of my 19 because there is none. It's funny because I say that the 19 is a very good everyday bag, and I do reach for it a lot, but I do rotate my bags, and even with the amount of reaching that I do, it's still not enough to put wear and tear on it. And it is a much better lambskin material than their classic lambskin, so I don't have any wear and tear to speak about. And I also haven't seen anyone talk about wear and tear on the 19. I just feel like it is, for what it is, being a lambskin and being a soft bag. I'm not seeing that much wear and tear on it. Even on the pre-love market, I haven't seen much. I haven't heard much about wear and tear either, which to me speaks volume too, because the fact that I'm able to be more carefree with that bag. I even take it out when it's raining, not pouring rain, but if I know there's a chance of rain. So I'm not super afraid to take it out. So I am biased. I do really like the bag, so I don't know what else to say. I don't have any wear and tear on it. So I will do one, but I just don't have anything to speak about at this point. So which is why I don't have a video on it. Okay, this one. Do you think that Chanel change to microchip tag would affect buyers' decision to buy bags? No, I don't think so.
I think it's better now. You don't have to worry about losing that stupid card.
Yes.
You know, when I was cleaning up my bags, like packing them, I always wonder, oh, where's the card? Where's that damn black card? Like, where is it? Sometimes it's in the box, sometimes it's in the bag. This is, to me, awesome.
Yes.
Very good. Stick it on the bag. That should have been all the while.
I don't think that it will affect buyer's decision at all. They might just wonder, I'm like, oh, why does it look different now? They're just going to be intrigued. And for those that are into the resale market and the pre-love market, will have a bit of a learning curve, because for them, they'll have to learn about how to authenticate, how to read that code, or how to even, if ask a chip reader, how do they do that? We don't know those answers yet, because I don't think there is. I think the first bags that come out with the microchip will be in the 21A series, right? So the not series, collection. So coming up very soon, but I haven't seen any myself either. I have only seen it on a photo on IG.
Same.
Yeah. Okay, I don't think we can answer this question because we don't know this brand. But I've only heard good things about this brand. And a lot of people compare this brand, Delvaux, to Hermes. What are your thoughts about it?
I have seen this bag. So they have a Delvaux, I think that's how you pronounce Delvaux brand in Singapore. They have two outlets, right? One in Marina Bay Sands and one more at Taka. And I actually tried this bag, this brilliant bag. It's exactly what you said, you know, good leather, good craftsmanship. I think it's made in Denmark. Yeah, I think so. I could be wrong. But I don't actually like it because I don't like the closure. So it's one of those buckle flap closures, and it's a buckle. It's like a belt buckle for a leather bag. So usually nowadays the design is, it looks like a buckle, but then you can just flip it up like a magnet. No, this is a traditional buckle, and unless you don't need to access your bag often, and yeah, you don't need to access your bag often, then it's okay. But if you do need to access your bag often, that buckle is very annoying because the leather is so good, so hard, so thick. It's really hard to access the bag. It's like, and to add one more point to that, you'll see tons of creases on that buckle. So I feel like the bag itself looks kind of different and nice. It's a top handle. It's like a Kelly bag style. But I don't know why they decided to go the traditional buckle route. Yeah, so that's my personal. I tried it. I tried it in store. I carried it. Too heavy for my own liking.
Yeah. So I don't know this brand very well. I only passed by. We don't actually have a store. I only passed by the department store that had a few of them. I think my blanket answer for this is that since I don't even know the brand, I don't even consider it, which is, even if I heard about quality leather and everything, I'm just not so attracted to it the moment I saw it. Because sometimes you may not know a brand, but you just look at something and you're like, oh, this looks nice to you. It just feels attractive to you. And don't get me wrong, if you're attracted to it, go for it. But just to me, I don't feel anything special. So that's why I didn't even consider going and grabbing it and just to look at it. So yeah, but I think Kat's feedback was very helpful. And I think this would be also a good question for you to answer because, okay, so the question is, do you still carry your Fendi Peekaboo? She has the small and the medium. She loves it despite the Peekaboo not being a cool bag anymore. Is it true? I still think it's cool. Do you think it's because it's too similar to the H Kelly, the Hermes Kelly. So, okay, I cannot answer this because the Kelly I don't own and have never tried. I personally think that the Peekaboo is still a really cool bag though, because I don't have the medium, but and I small. Anyway, I had a mini before, and I love the configuration because it's open, which is why I think I like the Birkin, even though I don't have it yet. But I just feel like I will like it a lot because it has everything I want. It's the ultimate bag, number one, but it's also open.
Yeah.
And the idea of the excellency, the craftsmanship, history, everything behind it, I'm just looking forward to that. It's maybe just me thinking it, but then I hear testimonials from everyone around me too. So I can only look forward to how it feels to have it and to use it. So I will be able to comment more about this, and hopefully, if I can work on a second one, it would be a Kelly. But aside from that, I don't know. You tried the Kelly. You tried the Kelly and you tried the Peekaboo. How do you feel about the two?
I think the Kelly. Okay, no, let's start with the Peekaboo. I think the Peekaboo, because I have handled the medium Peekaboo, my boss's one, for a while, and you know, I like it because it's more convenient than the Kelly, because it's just a buckle and you just open and see everything inside, whereas the Kelly has the flap and everything. They're very similar. I feel like, yeah, if you don't get the Kelly, the Peekaboo is just it's the same but different kind of feel bag.
Yeah.
It has a strap, has a handle. I actually like the Peekaboo.
Yeah, me
We
too.
did the video on the live,
Yeah.
and I said, "Oh man, I shouldn't be inside the Fendi store," because I actually like the slightly modernized version of the Peekaboo. Now they have the Peekaboo. Essentially, was it?
Yes, correct.
I was like, oh my gosh, I was blown away. I thought that was such a beautiful bag. So even though not a lot of people carry it, which is also a good thing, it's still a beautiful bag actually from Fendi.
Yeah, I don't think that it's not a cool bag anymore, but you maybe just don't see it on Instagram as much as it was a few years ago when Fendi was just all over the place. Kind of how it was around the same time where Gucci Marmont was all over the place as well. It was right around the same time. Yeah, I feel like the Peekaboo is still popular. You just don't see it as often on the maybe the influencers. Okay, from Chris, if we engaged a personal shopper to get our dream bag, are we able to go to the retail store for repairs if it's not if the purchase was not in our name? I can speak about my LV experience. I did buy some items a long time ago, pre-love. I think there was a wallet item. There was there a bag? No, there was. Yeah, there was. Actually, there was my Alma BB was pre-loved. Chanel, I don't have anything pre-loved that I brought back for any repairs because I didn't need any repairs, so I can't speak about that. So far, I was able to get help from my LV store. I know it's a hit or a miss because you hear stories of people who, you have to get it from that store or you have to have the receipt, et cetera, but when I went for the repairs that I needed, they were very helpful. I feel like it changes all the time because my more recent years from LV customer service has not been as positive. And so I don't know if I had any repairs that was pre-loved, whether I would have gotten the same service I would have gotten back then. So yeah, I don't want to say no because at the end of the day, if it's an authentic item, why wouldn't they service you? But yeah, it's getting a little bit more challenging. What do you think?
I think it depends on the store and where you are at, and also maybe if you have a relationship with the SA, which is why we always say SA relationships, not only just to get your bag, but if you were to buy pre-loved, they might help you out. They'll say, "Oh, where do you get this from?" I say, "Oh, I bought it pre-loved," which so far, you know, I have told a few of my essays, and they're like, "Yeah, it's okay, you can bring it," because they will charge you for the repair anyway. If you're expecting the repair to be free, most likely not. So far, I haven't had any experience that they would say no. So my Hermes toolbox needs a bit of a repair because of the palladium. The hardware is it's peeling off a little bit, and that's because of humidity. So I think, but because mine is resale, sorry, it's a second hand. I feel like the owner before me might have kept the sticker on the bag, on the hardware for a long time. So by the time I got it and I removed the sticker, now that I've been using it for a while, it's actually peeling off the hardware. So that is the unfortunate thing that as the second-hand owner, I'm experiencing. So I asked my SA, and she said that, yeah, bring it back, no problem. But I have to pay for it. So I think it really depends on the store and your relationship with the SA.
Yeah, exactly. But don't try it anyway. Just because we say yes or no doesn't mean that you shouldn't try. Yeah. We do approach our 2-hour mark, and I still see a few questions, so I'll hurry up. Shanna says, what will you do if you ask your Chanel SA to keep an eye on an item, and then you also ask a reseller for the same item, and then your reseller comes back first? So, Shanna, I wouldn't go to a reseller and to my SA at the same time if I were you. I would ask my SA first. I would ask her confidence of being able to get it for me, yes or no. Like, what are the chances? If she says, it's probably going to be hard, to me, that is a no. But if she says she's going to try, but not guaranteed, to me, that is, I have a chance. So I'll just wait for her to get back to me if it's a yes or a no. If it's really all, she put in it, she'll let me know eventually, and then I'll go to the reseller. I wouldn't ask two different people to look for the same item for me, just because, yeah, especially for the reseller, it's hard to, how do you say, like, if you break your relationship with her or even with your SA, it's just not good to break any relationship. What do you think, Kat?
I think you have to play it by ear. So depending on how sought after the item is,
right,
that you are willing to do one after the other. But if the item is really sought after, let's say, I'm just throwing out an example. Let's say you're talking about the Chanel pearl bag,
right,
or even the caramel. I keep saying camera. The caramel bag. Those are like really first come, first serve, and I think the essays will probably say, we'll see. So if you love that item, it might actually be worth taking the risk to do them parallel. But if they come back to you, both of them,
you have to buy both. That's what I would do if it's that sought after, and I ask both of them, which I normally wouldn't. But if I did ask both of them and they both get back to me, I will have to buy both of them.
I mean, yeah, no, just dig the piggy bank, like get them both.
But I see your point. I totally see it. But what
You're
are
like
the
hedging
chances?
your risk.
What are the chances? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But let's say hypothetically like this, right? Both came back. SA came back first. Me personally, I would ditch the second-hand.
Oh yeah. But then
I would say, I would tell her honestly.
Yeah,
I would say, I'll be honest. I'll say that, I won't lie something like, I don't have the money now. I just say, no, sorry. Actually, my actual SA came back to me, And I think they're very understanding because they are second-hand resellers anyway. If you don't want it, if it's a hot item, it's fine.
No,
Chip
you're
off your
right.
shoulder.
You're right. If SA comes back first, then of course buy it from the SA and tell your reseller ASAP.
Yeah.
But if reseller comes back first, then obviously you would have to buy from her. And SA comes back after that and you didn't have time to let her know, then buy that one too.
So depending on who comes back. If like they come back like an hour later kind of thing, then I mean, don't rush lah. But if they come back like a few days later,
Yeah.
then you are actually holding your second-hand reseller at that time, right? Because they won't wait for you.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Good one. Okay, SCB. Is it true that Hermes lipsticks don't smudge over a face mask? No,
not true.
I actually just tried it today. I had to wear my mask because I had to go outside to repark my car. And I had Hermes lipstick on earlier. It does go onto the mask. Okay, Clara is saying that her Lindy and Clemence is holding up. It's just a floppy leather.
Okay.
She has heard for 3 years.
Oh, okay. So there's a comment. I'm just looking down the comment. The Delvaux is from Belgium. Sorry, not Denmark. Okay, thank you. I was like somewhere.
No worries. I knew it was not France anymore because I thought it was France before, but I forgot where. Okay, I bought the 7 Rue Paradis organizer for my Birkin. I did find it very expensive. Kat, Amy, will you be purchasing it? I know you already bought it, Kat.
I did. I topped out $500 for the dang organizer. I don't know. I mean,
how do you find it so far?
I have already, dug out my retirement savings from the Birkin. What's $500, right? It's luxurious. I posted on my Instagram, so yeah, you can follow me. Sometimes I do post things on my Instagram. It's nice. It's luxurious. It's it's the whole package with the bag. It's soft. It's pretty light. Is it revolutionary for my Birkin? I will come back to you, okay?
So you haven't used it enough to have another revised opinion about it?
Yeah, I mean, it's just an organizer.
So do you use it though?
It's inside. Okay. It's inside my bag.
Okay.
And I do agree that it's shaped differently from my other Birkin organizers. So the Samorga Birkin organizer is quite boxy, whereas the organizer from 7RP it's tapered. So it follows the shape of the bag and it's soft, and also maybe that's why it doesn't leave the dents on the bag. But the price is to be is like what?
So I don't know the answer to this yet because I don't have my Birkin, but I will say that I am interested in trying the Samorga first. Although I have switched not all, but I have started only ordering the thin version of any organizers I get now. I prefer their thin felt because that one doesn't have that structure, which will give that line or that crease or whatever, like force your bag a certain way if you're afraid of creating creases, like weird shapes on your bag. It's so like, you've seen probably some of my reviews where I kind of flop it around. It's very flimsy in a way, which is what I want, because I find that organizers, one thing I don't like about them, any organizer, it doesn't matter which brand. Before, I never liked the idea of organizer because I find that it takes up space in my bag. But now that this thin one, like it's like paper almost, obviously it's not paper, but it's very thin compared to the classic felt. It almost just acts as a liner, which is what I want. I want to avoid the dust because, the corner dust is very hard to get no matter how careful you are. The middle is fine. You can just maybe use a sticker and then just get all the dust. But the very corner ones is hard. So I want to kind of just avoid that. And so that would be my first, like I'll try the thin version first of Samorga, and then I'll see how I like it. And if needed, I might also have to invest, dig my retirement as well.
$550 Singapore dollars. When I saw my credit card bill, I was like, what is this? What is this? Oh man, I don't know. I know I had some comments on my Instagram asking me to review it. And I don't know how you do a bag organizer review, but I can figure out something later on. It's an investment. I feel like this is the Ferrari of organizers. And you would probably need a Ferrari to put into the bungalow, which is the Birkin.
Yes.
But you can always drive a Honda still, So it gets you from one place to the other. No, the bag is a bag organizer. But anyway, I'll come back to you guys. I think I got some questions about that.
Yeah, let us know. Because usually you have the first instant. Well, maybe sometimes you need some time to form a better revised opinion about something, but sometimes also you can have like love right away at first impression. So I was wondering if you got that, but if you're still using it and still wondering, then let us know later.
I think I was shocked from the price.
Oh, okay, I see.
So the love at first sight was a bit like, oh,
yeah.
I just added to the cost of my Birkin.
Oh my gosh, I get it. Yeah. Okay. From Monica, I recently got my first classic flat. Take very good care of it, but my biggest concern is future tarnishing. So far, no problems, but should I be doing any specific to prevent this? Okay. Congrats. I don't know if tarnishing on classic flat hardware is common. I have a pre-loved bag that's from 2009 and it's fine. I find Chanel hardware to be quite hard wearing, even though it's not plated in gold anymore. I never had issues with mine. I do live in North America, in Vancouver, which is very mild, like kind of not too humid, not too whatever, like doesn't change too much throughout the year. So that helps. So maybe Kat, do you have any problems with your hardware, Chanel bags?
I don't actually, but I also do wipe my bags down. So when unless I know I'm using the bag for the entire week, then I'm not so psycho to do it every day. I don't, okay. But I know it's a good practice. Like I'm not. But if you are going to store your bag, okay, or you're not going to use it for another 1 or 2 weeks, you do want to wipe down the hardware. Like take a microfiber cloth, not wet, just a dry one. Wipe away the dust, the dirt, the oils from your hand, and that will keep the bag, even the leather, just wipe it down just to keep the bag clean, right? And I think that helps with the tarnishing, maybe. I'm not sure. And if you have stickers on your bag, please take them off. Because I don't know, Monica, where you're staying, if you stay in a humid country, but please do not keep the stickers on your bags. I struggle with this because I know we want to avoid scratches.
Yeah.
But actually, if you live in a humid country, stickers are really, really a no because they trap moisture. You can't see it, of course, with your eyes, but they trap moisture between the sticker and the hardware. And over time, that moisture is going to seep into the metal because it is metal. And that's what happened to my toolbox. It will damage it, tarnishing, peeling, cracking, whatever. So if you have any stickers, please take them off. But of course, depends on which country you're in. Wipe them down.
How often do you do the wiping down?
Before I store my bags.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if my bag's on the outside, I don't use it. I don't really wipe it. But if I'm using it, Then I know I'm going to rotate my bag. Then before I store it, I will wipe it. What else do I do? I think that's about it. I do air my bags. I don't know whether that specifically helps with tarnishing, but that's mainly for the leather.
No, that's good. Yeah, I do agree with the stickers. Even I don't keep my stickers forever. I keep it for like the honeymoon phase, but I just remove it afterwards. I don't have to be as careful about removing the stickers right away as much as you do, because I haven't had any problems with mine at all. Even the ones that still have stickers on. But the moment they start peeling, remove it. That's for sure. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna really have to accelerate. Okay, just wondering about the quality of the brand new Hermes bags, whether they're still made perfectly. So you have two. You have a pre-loved and you have a new one. What's your comment on that?
I think they look perfect.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't had. I'm just trying to visualize both of my Birkins. One is pre-loved. It's almost, I think the pre-loved bag is almost 10 years old now, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's 2010. And then my current one. So yeah, it's made so well. Like even the one that's new today, there isn't any flaw that I see. But having said that, I feel you still need to inspect your bag because they are handmade. And when they're handmade, there could be, maybe differences, right? Whether or not you can accept. But yeah, they're made so well. I seriously, I haven't, I have not, I observe my Birkin, I look at it, I admire it, and I don't see a single stitch out of place.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Oh, I cannot wait. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we'll do one more question, but I just wanted to shout out to Chris. Thank you so much for the super sticker. We'll do one more question before we go. So I saw this. Okay. I think it's an interesting way to think about selling. It's better to sell a bag at 50 to 60% loss than to gather dust in your closet and get none of your money back. Thoughts? Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Especially if that's the maximum that you can get. Obviously, some bags, like I said, some bags and some brands do fetch more and they do go up in prices and they're still in demand. Just work with the market. If the market value is 50 to 60% of your current of the price, then so be it. It's better than
let it go. Better than collecting dust for sure. For sure.
Yeah. Okay, I see one more comment. Let me see. What is this? I'm trying to read it, but I'm not reading fast enough. I'll just put it up. I find Samorga is not good, too stiff, not good for softer materials such as picotin lindy. Creates permanent folds. And then Eileen tells us she uses the 1.2 millimeter felt for her Kelly 28 and love it. Recently bought the 2 millimeter one for her
36.
Garden Party 36, which is more structured. So yeah, that's how I feel too. I feel like now that they have the new felt, and if you're afraid of creating that crease, I will try it. I will try the thinner felt because I'm not so worried about keeping structure. That's how I always thought about my bags. So for the 19, I want to store it and keep its structure. So I prefer the 2 millimeter felt. But for everything else, which I don't need structure except for protection from dust and anything like that, then I just get the thin felt. So I will try it. I will let you guys know when that happens. I hope it happens faster than but yeah, definitely will keep you guys posted. So I think that would be the last question. Thank you all so much for joining us today. Don't forget, next week we'll be on Kat's channel. And yeah, make sure to be subscribed to both of our channels. And we'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.